Hey girlfriend, this is Jan James. Welcome to the Hope After Breast Cancer podcast, where women who have endured breast cancer learn to have fulfillment over frustration, clarity over confusion, and faith over fear. We tackle the issues that many of our sisters face after a breast cancer diagnosis, from brain fog to fear of recurrence, from menopause to sex after breast cancer. This is the place to learn how to have hope after breast cancer. So strap yourself in. Welcome to the Hope After Breast Cancer podcast. Hi everyone, it's Jan James from Hope After Breast Cancer again. So glad you tuned in today. And I'd love to introduce you to my new friend, Lisa Bernardo, who is from Portland, Oregon. Lisa, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Jan. Thanks for having me.
Hi, so glad you're here. We just were chit-chatting before we hit the record button, and so I'm really excited for you to hear Lisa's story. And so, Lisa, could you tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about your family? And we really want to know, too, just to put it in perspective, about what year you were diagnosed and the kind of cancer that you had?
Okay, sure. Yes, I come from a family with 5 girls and 2 boys. And my grandmother and my mother both were BRCA2 positive. And so several of us, I think out of 7, we were told by the genetic counselor that you have a 50-50 chance. Every child has a 50-50 chance of getting the cancer gene. And I think 4 of us have it.
Wow.
So I didn't know that I had the cancer gene when I was diagnosed, but because of the family history and my sister got it when she was 40, I just figured it was inevitable. I was going to get it. It was a matter of when. And when I turned 50 in 2008, I was diagnosed at stage 3C breast cancer. So I did have some in my left lymph nodes. And then I had chemo and double mastectomy, then radiation, hysterectomy, and then reconstructive surgery. And that kind of threw me into a major PTSD.
Do you think? I know,
Yeah.
right? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh.
Anxiety and depression kind of set in, and I gained a whole bunch of weight. And I ended up having panic attacks. I think it was in 2011 that I was put on for, I think it's called generalized anxiety disorder. And I was put on an antidepressant, and I was on that for about a year, but then I gained more weight and I ticked me off. And so after I said, no, I'm done with this antidepressant, although it did help me. It helped my mindset because, you know, after going through, just being on chemo, I remember vividly having a dream, and it was like the devil was there. I'm going to kill you. And it was like this poison. I knew I was being poisoned. And so my mind would wake up every morning, go right to negative thoughts, and it was just, so the antidepressant did help with that. And I was able to wake up with cheerier thoughts. But what happened was I was still fat. And in 2014, I went to a conference, and it was at a cocktail party that a man pulled out his phone, and there was a lady in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time that tried to stow away on an airplane. And he pulled out his phone and showed her picture, and she had white hair and she had this wild look in her eye. And he said, when I saw her, I thought of you, because there was enough of a facial resemblance, I think. And he started laughing. Well, he didn't know my cancer background at the time. And everybody in the group started laughing except me. And I just wanted to shrivel up and die because, or, climb under a rock because I was so humiliated. And I went home And I looked at myself, and I wasn't really looking at myself much in the mirror those days. And I thought, what do people, when they look at me, what do they see? And I know now that, it really shouldn't matter what other people think. That shouldn't matter to me. But it does, and it did, because I'm human, right? And everybody wants to be loved and feel like they're accepted. But it was what I call my pivot point, or my pain point. And I decided I could stay in that existence, and I was just existing. It was like I was almost waiting, when is this all going to end, and it'll be over, and I hate my life and I'm miserable. And um, I decided to start walking, and all I could do was 10 minutes on the treadmill at a time. And I started eating better, and I stopped drinking alcohol. And I decided my daughter encouraged me to join a gym. And so I joined a gym, and I was invited to a Facebook group with Nicole Wilkins. She's a 4-time figure Olympia champion. And I started doing her challenges, and the weight started coming off. And I took off 55 pounds.
Wow, yay!
And I'm in the best shape of my life. I mean, I've got guns.
Look at you, girl.
And I did her challenges, and I've been able to keep the weight off. And she taught me what to eat, what kind of food to eat, how to calculate macros. I wasn't eating enough. So that's something, when you start an exercise program, you want to make sure you're eating enough, because if you don't, you get what's called skinny fat, because your body thinks you're starving it. Mm-hmm. So I started learning all these things. And that's when, Jan, when you put that on the group post about, are you miserable, or I don't remember.
Whole or broken is what it was.
Broken.
Yeah. Do you feel whole or broken? Right.
That's right. So my life is better now than it was before I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Do you have that post that you wrote, girl? To read to these guys? It really caught my eye, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to meet you. I need to be your girlfriend.
Well, you said, you said, are you broken or whole? And I said, I love this question, because I'm feeling 100% whole. After feeling broken for 6 years, after treatments, something happened that motivated me to stop the S show. And I began learning how to love myself, mind, body, and soul. That was 6 years ago. Life is now better than it was before breast cancer. So I think part of also what I did was I started listening to Audible self-help kind of programs. And Lisa Nichols, she has a thing called No Matter What, and I listened to that. And I did, some soul searching and just some self-help, self-growth. And then I was just going along, just loving life. And then about 6 months ago, it all, I thought, I'm stuck again. I need to start learning more. So now I'm in a new growth pattern.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that. You're learning how to be a coach, you said. So what's your goal about coaching?
So my goal is to work with 10 women that want to learn how to weight train, that want to learn how to eat right. And I want to teach them. I want to teach them what I've learned, so that they can then get in the best shape of their life, and then they can turn around and they can teach 10 more people, and just keep it going.
What are the differences in how you feel now, from before and after? I mean, I was cruising through your profile earlier, and I was like, oh my gosh, you are in wonderful shape. Good for you. Just really inspiring. And I think so many women suffer with weight, including me, post breast cancer, for lots of different reasons. But how do you feel now that you've become physically healthy?
Well, I feel great, feeling physically healthy, even though I injured myself. I slipped off a stool in the ice last Sunday, so I have a little bit of an injury, but I'm overcoming that. So I feel really, really good physically. And also recently I've started a new habit of meditating, and I'm taking a course and I'm learning how to meditate. And I'm also learning EFT tapping, and I didn't know anything about this just a few months ago. I didn't know about it, and it is really helping also. So EFT tapping and meditating. And then my sister, um, I'm Christian, she sent me a devotional book, so I'm starting to read that daily, and that's really helping me too.
That's awesome. So I had said to you earlier that you just seem to have a real thirst for new information that's going to help you grow and heal, right?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really wonderful. That's awesome. So besides the tapping and the meditating, are there any other habits that you do daily to kind of keep you on the right track?
Well, I get up early, um, and
How
I go to bed.
early? How early, Lisa? You told me. Tell these guys.
Well, I get it. Well, if I don't wake up naturally, then my dog and my cat wake me up. So I get up at 2, and I have a friend that lives in the UK that I've met, and she is an Access Bars consciousness person, practitioner, and she comes on live. She's been doing that January and February at 2 in the morning. And so I start out with her, and then I, have my cup of coffee, and then I do my meditation ritual and devotional and EFT tapping. And then I write for an hour after that. And then I go upstairs and I put on my exercise clothes and I work out for up to 2 hours,
Oh
except
my
for
goodness.
not on rest days though. I take a couple rest days a week because you need to rest. And then I start my regular day job, and I do that for 8 to 5.
So you
And then
really have created a bunch of habits that are keeping you on track then.
yes, yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So I know that
Then I eat dinner and go to bed at
yeah,
6.
right. That's about all you have time for after that. So I know that life is
Because
very
you got to get
smooth.
your sleep in too.
Right. Oh, that part. Yeah. I know life is very smooth for you. There's never a speed bump. It's,
Oh yeah.
rainbows and unicorns and whatever, right? But what happens, like, what is your, I don't know what to call it, your process, or what happens when adversity just hits you out of the blue? How do you deal with that?
Well, I'm much calmer now, and I'm learning to respond rather than react.
Oh,
And
interesting. Mhm.
I have learned that my higher power will make things well again. And moments of um, despair are passing, and learning to trust in my higher power is has been the most beneficial part, for me in the times of when road bumps, road bumps, speed bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all get them, don't we? And they're often out of the blue, I think. So that's good. Good. I have one other question, and I didn't warn you about this, but do you enjoy horses?
I grew up riding horses.
Well, I saw a little video on your profile about getting out of your comfort zone. How did horses help you get out of your comfort zone?
Oh, well, I was afraid of horses when I was younger, and I went to a camp. It's called in Oregon, called Camp Tamarack, and they had horses. You could go horseback riding every day, and I was afraid to go. But my girlfriend went, and she would come back and tell me how much fun she had and how much she enjoyed it. And I think I just stayed and wrote letters or stuck my feet in the water because I was afraid of getting in the water too. But on the last day, the second to the last day, they said, okay, this is your last, anybody that wants to go horseback riding, this is your last chance. And so I found the courage to do it. And I loved it. And I went and I rode it. I loved it. I came home and I said, I want a horse. And I ended up getting a horse, and I ended up doing 4-H and then showing. And when I was 16, I was driving over the mountains in Oregon to buy a horse with a horse trailer in tow on a pickup truck. It was me and my sister, and it really got me out of my comfort zone and helped me to, I don't know, how to learn how to get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try something new.
It changed your life, it sounds like. And it's really funny because we're going to be talking a little bit more as we move on about courage and how do you pull that up in yourself, when you're facing something that you're fearful about. It has to be a conscious decision. You have to just take a deep breath and kind of jump in, right? But it really changed your life for the better, because I know that you had so much enjoyment in raising the horses and showing them and everything. So that's such a cool story and such an encouragement, I think, to our women. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So thanks for being, so Lisa, I'm going to wrap up and just thank you so much for sharing so much of your life and your story. And I know that it'll be a great encouragement to our Pink sisters. And I just am really grateful to have you as a girlfriend.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be with you, Jan. And I really appreciate you and everything that you're doing. And I love your joy.
Oh, thank you. It comes from my higher power for sure, my Jesus. So yeah, I'm glad to do that. So thank you so much, sweetie, and just really grateful for you to be part of our group. So thank you.
Thank you.
And folks that are watching, just thank you so much for taking the time to learn a little bit about Lisa. And I hope that you can take some of her ideas away and make them your own, because what we do at Hope After Breast Cancer is we want to encourage and empower you to reclaim your life and thrive. So signing off for now, this is Jan James from Hope After Breast Cancer. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. I hope you found some nuggets to encourage you and give you hope. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You never want to miss an episode. And we'd love to know how we're doing, so please be sure to leave us a review. Until next time, this is Jan James encouraging you to remember there is hope after breast cancer. See you next time.